Hey, there it is. Okay, we're live. It is Sunday, the 7th of September, which means that we are officially in it to win it. That's right, every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live. And I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and this is The Right Mindset. Today, we are going to be working on Write a Book with Me from Concept to Conception. The whole point is to show you behind the curtain. And then, of course, we're going to explain, inform, and educate you on the process of writing a book from concept to conception. And we've been killing it here. We've been doing a really good job as of late, making things happen, making things work. If you don't know, this is the 35th episode of the series. We only do it on Sundays. So technically, I've only been working on this book for 35 hours starting today. So that should be exciting. If anyone doesn't know, we do have a poll in the comment section. What's the best career advice you've received? We have finish your first draft, write what you love, talk about your story, and don't be afraid to fail. We'll talk about the poll at the end of the hour, and then, of course, we're going to get into it. So today is indeed the 25th episode to everything we've been working on up until this point. What's up, Ashley? Welcome back! Yeah, that's right. You get sung in. We sing on this show, all right? Well, flowers, my dear friend. Welcome to the show. All right, so before we get in it to win it, as always, I like to really explain what's going on, just in case this is your first time watching the show, or maybe your second. You just don't know what's going on. Yeah, we're always singing on this show. So if you don't know what's going on, basically, I am following my writing process, and remember, it is one of a kabillion processes out there. But I'm just letting you see what I do to show you that there are many ways to do it, and maybe in the process, I get to teach you something and you learn something you didn't know before. For the last 34 episodes of this, we did everything that you see here. Brainstorm with character dumps, character arc, short form outlining, extended outlining. We are officially on the zero draft, which basically we're in the third act. We are killing it. I think we're on chapter 19. Something like that. Or plot point 19, I should say. So we are in the third act. We are getting through it. What is the zero draft before I get into it? This is where I get the layout, the pacing, the beats of a chapter, and to figure out if a chapter should be more than one chapter. And it basically gives me an idea of the movement within said chapter. We are going to be using, as we say, we are going to still be using broad general statements. As you can see, this is what an extended outline looks like. This is the extended outline. We're going to take this and we're going to build on it and build our chapters. You can get prosy in the zero draft. I choose to feel it out wherever it goes. Right now I haven't been, because this book I am going to try to write outside my comfort zone, and I'm going to go first person, and it's also going to be sci-fi. I traditionally write in epic fantasy, so it's always good to spread your wings, as one might say. Your lyrical wings. And so right now I've just been sort of like writing out the ideas. If I was writing this more in third person, a limited rotation, which is really where you get to move the camera around and you get to kind of, that's a whole other story. I might do a video on that because I do like the different POVs. If I was doing that, I'd probably lean more into some loose prose during the zero draft. I would probably get into more dialogue. But right now, I'm just showing everybody how to map out a chapter without getting into the greater details. However, once we get to the last chapter, we're going to go back. I'm going to read everything, and I'm going to take notes. I'm going to show you how I take notes. I'm going to show you what I'm taking notes on and why. And then we're going to revise the zero draft. It still won't be considered the first draft because I'm not going to be writing prose and, adding all the immersion and stuff like that. Because if you didn't know, the first draft is where I just write prose. The second draft is where I add the immersion. Okay? But we're not going to get to immersion right now. We're focused on zero draft. Let's do it. Let's get into it. All right. Last we left, Laura, Olivia, and the love interest were heading towards the planet to get their ship out from the impound. And they officially landed on the planet. Laura, Olivia, and the love interest landing on the planet. Um, Name this later. I'll put that there just for you as the audience. Basically, I give myself notes while I'm working on the zero draft. When I'm working on actually any draft, I'll do that. I'll put parentheticals in there, and I'll just sort of like, add a little red color so I know there's a note. Lets me keep up on what's going on. Because obviously I'm not naming the planet XYZ. Though I could. And yeah, that would be funny. All right. Okay. All right, so what am I doing here? I'm creating the first beat of the scene, which is Laura, Olivia, and the love interest land on planet XYZ. Hey, JK, what's up? Everybody, if you don't know, I had JK on for an interview. That will be up sometime before the end of the year. It is, I think it's already scheduled. I'm not sure. I have to look at that. But I had a lovely time interviewing JK. Thank you again, JK, for coming on and doing that interview. Okay, so what I'm doing, here's the first beat, so let's build on that beat, right? They get off the ship and deal with transfers. Okay. Laura and the love interest. Okay. And they deal with transfers. All right. They ask where, Laura asks where the impound is. Okay. Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. You were a pleasure. You were fantastic. Oh, that's right. I wanted to change something on here so you guys could see better. Let's do this. I figured this out the other day. I just have to do that. Boop. There you go. See? Now you can see everything. All right. Okay, so as I'm working on this, remember, part of the job of a zero draft is to figure out, is it worth it? Am I, what's the pace of the chapter, the beat of the chapter? And right away, like, nothing is really happening with them landing. Like, we know they got to the planet in the last chapter. We know they landed in the last chapter. So sometimes the rule stands. Start in the middle, right? And do we really need to get them walking off? Do we need them dealing with that? Because the point is, whenever you create a scene, you want a scene that has opportunity for conflict and tension. Again, conflict and tension doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It can be positive, okay? Two people meeting at a restaurant for their first, second, third, or 100th date still can have conflict and tension. They could be happy beyond their wildest dreams with the other person. But, maybe they get the wrong order. Maybe, someone next to, like, the perfect date for them ends up being horrible because the people next to them, somebody has a heart attack. Whatever, right? So, that might be negative. But the tension for them might be positive in the sense that they're having a good time and they don't want to mess it up, right? So, remember, tension and conflict doesn't always have to be a negative. I love how you sing your Well, I love that you love it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm just taking this out of here. I'm making a choice as a writer, because remember, writing is easy, being a writer is hard. Being a writer is about asking questions, making choices, and taking those decisions to the next level. Okay, so why don't we just have them entering, okay, Laura and the love interest enter the impound, where Laura's ship is, where they encounter annoyance and pushback. Ultimately, they get okay. All right. I have to figure out what. Okay. We gotta figure out what the annoyance and pushback is. Yes, the love interest. Oh yeah, that I want to put in there as they're leaving. Okay. Ultimately, they get to. All right, so here's something I can do, right? I can make it where they need X amount of dollars to get it. The love interest is like, hey, I know somebody. They owe me money on this planet, and now that becomes like basically a side quest. But here's the thing: this is the third act. In the third act, you kind of want to keep the narrative streamlined. You want to get to the resolution. In the second act, that would be completely fine to do. Even in the first act, you could have sort of these side quests, you know. The problem in the third act is that it messes with the pace of the narrative in the sense that Act 1 is usually slow because it's setting up. Act 2 is where now we're getting engaged, there's a little bit of conflict, pushback, we're seeing them succeed, fail, trials, tribulations. So there's a lot going on, we're ups and downs. But Act 3 should be something that is just, we're moving to the finish line because it's just the last leg of the race, right? So if I do decide to go on a side quest here, it would absolutely slow down the thing. So what is more important here is actually this note where they think they see the gang member. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the scene with them just getting the impound. There'll be, hey, wait here. We got to get the paperwork, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Laura and Levin get into the impound. Okay. One of the guards ask Laura for her paperwork. Okay. We'll just say the guard gives her a bit of pushback only because she was a prisoner. Boop. But ultimately, they get the ship. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because, again, I just sort of want to get the setup, the context there, right? But, what I could do is this. Okay. All right. As they are brought to the ship, Laura walks around the ship to inspect it. She asks how they got the ship here. All right. Well, now we're going to create a little bit of conversation without going too deep into dialogue. Laura asks, the guard says it was easier to fix the holes and just have someone fly it here so it's ready to go, which is nice because, you know, again, we don't want to create side quests, right? Okay. All right, Laura. Now, again, remember, these are not prose. These are just general statements. They're setting up what I will be writing. When I write the prose, I'll be writing to the plot beat that's on the page. I'll be writing within the plot beat that is on the page, and then I will be writing away from that plot beat that is on the page and into the next plot beat that is on the page. So that's how I kind of do it. All right. So Levin notices the love interest looking out toward the main gate. Okay. Whoop. The love interest. Now remember, when you're doing outlines and stuff like that, for anyone who's fairly new to watching this, I always try to maintain the name or the descriptor of who somebody is. I try to avoid like writing they or he or she, only because in a quick glance when I'm writing the first draft, when I'm just using the outline as a guide, I don't want to have to think. I don't want to be like, who is they? Who is she? Like, who's doing this thing? So as long and it's remember, it's outline. It's a zero draft outline for me. So it doesn't matter if it's, you know, I'm writing that, you know. Thinks that now here I could do it because they is directly connected to the love interest. So the love interest thinks that they see the gang leader, but it's from the corner of the eye, and he can't see or say if it was him for sure. Okay. Oh, hello, Angel Faye. What's up, Afghani? To be honest, this kind of outlining is way too detailed for me. You know, Afghani, I agree. Oh, when do you get to the actual writing? I get to the actual writing after the zero draft. So if we look at, I'll show you. Also, by the way, I get it. So, you know, I'm going a little deep into it just because it helps me. And I like to build on ideas instead of just sort of like jumping into the ideas. But so once we finish this, I'm actually going to go back and read everything, and I'm going to take notes, and then I'm going to adjust what I found into the zero draft. Traditionally, what I do is I will then have alpha readers, which I won't necessarily do this time around because we're trying to do an educational thing here. And then from those notes, I'll revise the outline, the zero draft outline, and then I start the first draft. So it looks like there's a lot of steps, but in reality, what these first 9 steps do is lay the foundational narrative for me so that when I get to the prose, I don't have to worry about what's working and what's not working. The only thing I'm going to have to worry about is pace, right? And then character behavior and choices. So that's like all the fun stuff. But everything that must happen and everything that is basically, you know, the cause and effect, character growth and behavior, all that is set up in these first 9 steps of my writing process. But honestly, it goes by quicker than you think. Remember, this is only, we're working on our 35th hour. So if I was writing, let's say 4 hours a week, 4 hours a day, or even 2 hours a day. Let's do 2 hours a day. That's, what is that? 10 days? 10 days? This is 10 days of work. You know, that's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. This is not madness. This is Sparta. But I do understand why it could look like a lot of detail. But in reality, what's happening is I'm slowly building out ideas. And the reason I'm doing this is because, honestly, and hear me out, if I didn't do any of this and I wrote out the long prose, right, and now my chapters are 1,000 to 3,000 words, or even 1,000 to 4,500 words, you know, average, whatever. If I get to that point and I finish the book, what do I got to do to make sure the book is right? I'm going to have to reread every chapter. I'm going to have to read all those 1,000 to 4,500 words. I'm going to have to take notes. I'm going to have to make sure everything connects. I'm going to have to read through the prose, which are, at times, if they are written with quality, they're going to have subtext. So I'm going to have to make sure that I understand that the subtext is correct. Then I'm going to have to detail that and be like, all right. Then I'm either going to have to completely take out 100 to 600 words in a chapter. I'm going to have to move stuff. So I do the heavy lifting in the back, or I should say in the beginning of the process. That allows me to focus more on the creative avenues towards the end. It just allows for more freedom to focus on the quality of the writing afterwards. Because if you write everything and then you work on it, you have to reverse engineer it. You got to take notes. You got to understand what's going on, you know? So it's all a process. And again, everybody should do what makes them comfortable. Hello, Thomas in the room. What's up, bro? Even with our trauma today, I'm still hit 600 words. My gob is well and truly smacked. Congratulations, by the way, 600 words. Look, I'm not saying this to like on my back, but last night I did 3,000 words on the outlining book. 3,000 words. I finished another chapter and a half, so I'm pretty excited about that. That book is flying through. But 600 words with the gobbledygook that we dealt with today for you, my friend. That's fantastic. I commend you. I commend you. You didn't write today. That's okay, Afghani. We'll just deduct demerits. Wowee! Wowzers! All right, let's see. Laura note. Oh, I made a temporary author website in Notion. Excellent, as my original one is not working due to payment. Lol. If you need us to smack some people, you let us know. We'll take care of it. All right. Okay. Now, if you notice, I did a soft chapter break there. You know, we're getting back into it. Okay. Laura and the love interest. Have a conversation about the gang member. It's not an issue. He'd be foolish just call them the cops for now. Or, no, the authorities. The authorities are after him. Okay. What we got here? Oh. It turned out okay. Well, that's good, because my hands, they hurt. So, like, slapping anybody, I'd be out for 3 weeks, you know. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do another soft chapter break, which gets us, they get on the ship, taking... All right. Okay. Once the guard is gone, and Laura and the step on board, the love interest goes and gets the item that was hidden on the ship. Nice. All right. By the way, I still don't know what the item is, and I don't really need to know right now. Figure out what the item is and what it is for. Because all that stuff we can figure out as we're working on the actual novel. Because remember, the drafts, outlines, stuff like that, we're just trying to get the foundational elements done. It is not about the finer details yet. Mostly because, and I believe in this greatly, is I'm an outliner who discovers. So while I'm writing the prose, while I'm working on the first draft, that's where I'm going to allow the characters to sort of have choices and move around. And, like, even though I need them to get on the ship, even though I need the love interest to take Laura to go get the item, and they get the item that's hidden, like, that's what needs to happen. But how that unfolds, you know, the dialogue, the behavior, you know, maybe there's hesitation on Laura, like, why don't we wait until we're in space, you know, et cetera, right? All that creates the quote-unquote story. Because remember, narratives are made of both plot and story. Plot is what needs to happen no matter what, and story is how it unfolds through the emotional experiences and choices of your characters. So it's the story that I like to discover, and it's in there that I'll find the finer details, because I want to allow myself the freedom to evolve characters. So instead of being like, right now the love interest looks like XYZ, I don't have to worry about that, because while I'm writing the prose, right, maybe when I'm working on scenes, maybe he has, like, the ability to stick to walls, like he has sticky fingers, okay? Maybe she has sticky fingers, okay? It'll just add to the world, it'll add to character development, it'll add to all, you know, the lore, etc., etc., etc. If I worry about that stuff now, it might dilute where and when I could go certain places, right? Because I'm creating limitations. It's sort of like if I'm writing a mystery that takes place in our world, and it's based on truth. I already know nobody can fly. I already know no one has super strength. I already know there's no powers, right? So I have to write within that confound. But when you're working in sci-fi or fantasy, or anything that allows you a little bit of freedom, like urban fantasy and stuff like that, you don't want to fill in the blanks before you start playing with the colors. And the reason you do that is so you can let the narrative guide you to where it needs to go. And then as you do that, you can go back anyway and start cleaning up your earlier chapters and be like, oh, I could add this, I could seed that, I could do whatever, you know. Couldn't attend yesterday's stream. Was helping someone move into their new place. Well, Ro, we can't be upset that you're helping people. I mean, that's the whole point of life, is to help one another, right? So, you know, if anything, I wish I could have helped. I mean, with my back, I could be more like a, you know, the foreman, be like, all right, let's move the couch this way. All right, so. Yeah, that's funny. All right. All right. Laura and the love interest talk while settling in to have the ship take off. All right, so Now the conversation is Laura can finally see her parents, and she'll be home before they know it. Now, of course, anytime someone says that, they jinx it. All right. Laura asks where the love interest wants to be dropped off, and he says he'll figure it out once they get to her planet. When asked the love interest basically says that he wants to make sure she makes it home. Make sure Laura makes it home. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to do my word count. I'm going to do my word count real quick. So we got 3 scenes out of this. 44, huh? 44. Okay. What chapter is this? 19-2. 19-2. Let's see. Going to get the ship. All right, one second. We got they enter the impound, and then they are brought to the ship, and then they get on the ship. Okay. All right. Enter the impound. It's important to do this for me, you know. All right, now 19-2. So this is the second scene. It's gonna be 117. All right, and then of course the final scene. 170. Jesus. Now you're thinking, Thomas, that's a short chapter. And, well, it is. I agree. It's short. But at the end of the day, it might end up being way longer because I have to include immersion. I have to include character experience. I have to include choices. So, but foundationally, I have every element that I feel I need right now for the narrative to make sense at this point. That could change. I could add to it. I could subtract to it. I could take it completely out. But I won't know that until I finish all the chapters themselves. All right, so there we go. Chapter 19-2 is done. Let's go to the next one. We're on chapter 20. All right, this is one quick scene. By the way, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, you know you can feel free. You know, read the little scroll. It says go ahead. It says go ahead, ask me questions. Have me questions. Also, if you're new here and you haven't seen it so far, you can the poll. We always talk about the poll in the comments section. Right now, the poll is, what's the best career advice you've received? We have finish your first draft, write what you love, talk about your story, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. All right. All right, so let's see. Laura flies the ship into outer space. We'll get to there. The ship itself is shaking more than it normally would. The computer, that is snarky, by the way. The computer explains that the fixes were temporary ones, and Laura going to have to put real money into fixing the ship when they get home. Laura asks the ship if they'll be able to make it home, and the ship says that they will, as long as they don't crash into anything else or get hit by a debris. Now, oh, what do we got there? Best advice I received is something I heard on a podcast, which was to write an outline. That is some great advice. I agree. Writing outlines are very helpful. But I also agree with Afghani. I agree with you that you don't have to go too deep into it if you don't want to. It's just this process has helped me sustain my career in screen and also long-form narrative. And the reason is because even working in like writer rooms and stuff like that, like building on ideas always led to stronger ideas. Where instead of being like, here's a big idea, now we have to write it out. It's because working on it in little bits and pieces allows us to start adding the whys and hows and whos and wheres and theirs, right? You can ask questions along the process, and then you could dig deeper and go become more immersive with the ideas and stuff like that. Now, the reason I set this up, remember, this is every scene, every chapter, every act, every section, everything needs a beginning, a middle, and end. Beginning sets context up, because without context, the audience won't know what's happening. The middle will challenge said context, and then, of course, the ending will resolve the conflict or problem that is presented. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding context. They're like, hey, we're going to get off. The ship is shaking a little, more than normal. The computer has a conversation with Laura about, like, hey, the ship has temporary fix to it, so listen, you just don't get hit and don't crash. But we already know that Laura has crashed the ship twice. She's crashed it in the beginning of the book in Act 1, and she crashed it in Act 2. So it's not out of character for her to potentially crash it a third time. Okay? But we are raising the stakes, and we are creating some sense of tension and or urgency, which is now going to be elevated, by the way, because as soon as they get into space, the rival gang leader shows up. Okay. All right. Ship to outer space. Outer space! And the ship detects presence of another ship coming from the planet. Captain Planet. All right. Outer space. The love interest Jinx turns out to be an unknown ship, which is the gang leader. And now remember, it's going to be in first person, so the narrative, we can't know anything unless Laura knows anything. So, and the gang leader wouldn't have a ship because they didn't have a ship in the beginning. So this would be a ship that they would have gotten after the fact, after the midpoint conflict and the end of Act 2 and stuff like that. All right. Laura gets hailed. Hailed? All right. Hailed by another ship to speak. Right? Is it hailed? H-A? Yeah, that's right. Hailed. That's correct. What we got here? All right, hailed by the ship, and it is indeed the gang leader. By the way, this would be another beat like that. Okay. If you're new here and you don't really know what's going on, I'm working on a zero draft, and I use plot points to basically filter the rhythm or the pace. The first bullet point, I should say, the first bullet point is always going to set the beat, the narrative beat. And then if I go in, it means that I'm working within that narrative beat. I could even go further. So like this one's fix the ship when it gets home. Laura leans back in her chair, frustrated, knowing that she has no money for any of this. Right? And then that creates a new bit. Laura complains complains to the love interest. Loudly. All right. Okay. Love interest. Okay. So, if you're watching, this sets up the main narrative beat. Then I go a little deeper into it. So, these secondaries are going to be within the narrative thread of this opening beat. And of course, if I go deeper, it just means that I go more into this moment. Then this creates a new movement. So this is the computer explains, look, it's temporary fixes, it'll get you home. And then she's frustrated from that. Now, the narrative beat changes when Laura complains to the love interest, and then so forth and so on. Now, this is a new beat here. Laura gets the ship out of space, etc., etc. Ciao mio, I'm here. What's up, Afghani? What's up, Laura? What's Laura up to? What is Laura up to? She is, they're getting off the planet. They're trying to get off the planet. Wave, hey, angel. Wow, that's a deep voice, Emma. All right, hi, flowers. That's even deeper. Have you been practicing your bass and baritone? Yes. Oh, okay, all right, that's exciting. All right. Hey, bro. Hey, everyone. All right. You know my OCD is going to make me click the buttons. All right. All right. Laura gets the ship to outer space, and the ship detects the presence of another one. Oh, anyway, the reason I do this is because visually I can look at it. Like this is going to look a little smaller on your screens. But if I zoom out, I can look at a scene, and I could see the bullet points, and I could tell if a narrative beat, a main beat, is going on too long. Right now, this is long, but I wouldn't say it's too long because there's 3 sub beats in it, and I know that has movement. All right, and then I'm noticing this is a faster paced beat, so that's going to fly by. All right, and then the ship hails. The ship hails them. All right, so that's why I like using the bullet points for the 0 draft. I do not use it in the first draft and further. I only use it for the short form outline, the extended outline, and of course, the 0 draft. The item. All right. Now I'm going to write a note to myself while this scene plays out. Have Laura setting up the ship to take off. However, there isn't a hyper speed device. We've set that up in Act 1, right? Device near them. Planet has one. All right. Okay. So this allows us to have some limitations. This allows us to have more tension. There's no quick out. Okay, but she is setting up the ship to take off. Sorry. Sometimes my cat meows and I'm like, is that like a death meow? Like, what's going on? Because it's not like a meow. It's like a meow. It's so funny. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. She heard me meow, and she's like, Daddy! Two, you could come over here. We don't mind you walking around. You want to come up? I hope there's no birds involved. Yeah, I hope there's no birds involved too. Aw, she is a cute kitty. She's adorable. Hello, Emma. All right, let's see. Meow 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 meow. She's my kiss cat. Meow 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 meow. All right. All right. The gang leader. So now we're gonna have some action. I love action. Oh, what do we got here? When my cat makes a weird meow, usually means she's about to throw up. That's not too far off. Or the mouse is dead. Yeah, 2 does that sometimes. She's like, and then all of a sudden you just say, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? My cat did that a few days ago. Send thoughts and prayers. I send light and magic. All right. Where are we? Oh, Laura Olivia hits the boosters, taking over. The gang member attacks. Laura's ship. All right. Since they can't. Yeah. See. See. I didn't even remember that was there, but I put the note there because I can't use it. Okay. Which clearly is bad for the ship if it gets hit. All right. Hi, I'm doing your duel against myself with my blue eyes, white dragon, and spirit charmer decks. My spirit charmer deck won. Hell yeah! Hell to the yell. Victory! Hairballs. That's how you get the golem.
Gollum, my precious. We must stop the fat hobbises. You're ruining it.
Okay. Sorry. We do impressions here, you know. Ooh, you have a ragdoll breed, lots of hair. You know, I might be a ragdoll breed because I am hairy. All right. The gang member attacks. Okay, what's going on here? Since they can't use the hyperspeed, they are forced to try to. Oh, that's a newt. That's a nutation. Alright, she doesn't have a fighter ship, it's just a transporter ship, so they are moving to avoid. I'd actually also say that's a part of it, moving to avoid. Okay. Boop. This we could put doot 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 down 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 down. Well, it all came down to this one. All right. All right. Laura gets closer and closer to the moon near this planet. The moon has life on it, but it is dangerous life. The computer tells Laura that they're safer in space, floating in its cold and landing on that moon. What did I just do? What did I just do with that? Tell me in the comment sections. What does the computer telling Laura that they're safer in space floating in its cold than landing on that moon? What does that exposition, in a sense, that narrative beat, do for the narrative? Let me know. Let me know. All right. Okay. see, end the chapter with them heading into the planet and do the okay. All right. As you can see, Thomas AI caused the M dash right there. I just want you to know that. That's right. The other reason I really like that I'm doing this series, just for the record, and I've thought about this after I started, but everyone is seeing me right. So you'll know that my M dashes are not AI. I'm proving it. All right. Look at that. Now Now, just for the record, we expanded this extended draft fairly. Look at this. 411. 411. So we went from 114 words to 411 words. Boop. By the way, if we look at that, what is that? 331. Look at that. 742. I just wrote 742 words, whatever, in whatever it is, 40 minutes. All right. This is entering space, heading to moon. All right. Woo! 21. What we got here? Oh, hey, Joanne. She's about Garfield size, but not full-blown size of the Chunkus scale. The Chunkus scale. That's funny. That's funny. She's not. By the way, reading the name Joanne makes me think of Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take away my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of amber green. Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is soft like summer rain. Okay, we're done for the day. All right. I don't want to scare people away. Okay, so this one has three scenes. Oh, I have the 3 scenes there. Okay, good. What we got? They crash on the planet. There are creatures. The environment is hostile. They run off from the ship. The gang member lands their ship. They need to survive. So this becomes... Boo, boo, boo. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Okay. Don't judge me. I love Dolly Parton, okay? I'm a heavy metal guy, all right? And I like Dolly Parton. I like the band Cake. All right. Actually, this one doesn't. I guess it does. You know what? I can make this a soft chapter break. A soft chapter break. What are we, 50 minutes in? You know what? I guess I could stop here. I did a chapter and a half. That's not that bad. Maybe I could just read this and see what happens. Let's start it and see where it goes. Let's start it and see where it goes. All right, they crash land. Okay, Laura Olivia crash lands on the planet. On a planet. Well, let's change it to the moon. On a moon. You learn to land a ship, or you'll. Oh, yeah. All right. Here goes Laura. So learn to land. What's this? I like the Leslie Rankin. Oh, does she have a version? Leslie Rankin Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'll have to check that out. Save it to my list. Jolene, Jolene. All right. So the two stories. So the two stories I'm currently working on, I decided to combine them together as one story called "Spirit of the Truth." Tempter of lies and the shame of grace. Book 1. My life in my foxglove. Like I said yesterday, Hannah Hahn, as long as you're having fun and you're enjoying the process of writing, that's really the super secret of being an author, you know? Once you start trying to make money, though, that's when you really got to start thinking of the business of it and, like, start really putting a couple things together mentally and, on paper, etc., etc., etc. However, it's all about art, be creative, have fun, see where it goes. I'm proud of you. Kick some butt. All right, Laura Olivia crash lands on the moon. The ship is screaming and afraid. Instead of helping, when Laura makes music on the Ruby. Is this an unsigned singer and you're supporting a friend? Because that's really cool that you're doing that. We should always be supporting our friends and our family and our loved ones. All right. When Laura tells the computer to help, okay. Love interest grabs one of the controls, telling Laura that they'll do it together. Laura tells the love interest what to do as the ship. I don't need a comma there. As the ship gets closer to the ground. By the way, I gotta fix this 1 second. There you go. All right, got closer to the ground. The blue sand of the moon gets darker the closer they get to it. As light, as trouble shining through the ozone layer of the moon itself. All right. Ozone. Fun fact, that's world building. See what I did there? World building. Okay. I did that because I just thought about that now, and I was like, let me just put it there. But again, it's a zero draft. I could change that if I wanted to. Like, that's the one big thing about being a writer. Like, you are not beholden to what you write. Like, just because you write that they're tall doesn't mean they have to be tall. You could be like, you know what, let's make them short. All right. It says that the gang leader will shoot the ship if we don't get out of here and make them have to come get us. All right. Now, if you notice, I moved it back to the other bullet point, and that's because this changes the movement. It went from survival and like killing the person to now a position. Laura doesn't want anyone to die. All right. Hannah High. All right, looks like we look at that. That's filling up. That's filling up. All right. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm gonna say that's the intro of then. I'm gonna right here. Okay. Like what is it? All right, we're done. We're done. We're gonna say we ended here. Ended here. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Look at that. 261. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Guess that's everything. Is that everything? Yeah. Wait. 23. Oh, yeah. Because I thought we'd get a little further today, little lady. But we didn't. Okay. Boop. All right, everyone. If you haven't done so already, remember, we have a poll. We have a poll in the comments. What's the best career advice you received? We have finish your first draft, write what you love, talk about your story, and also don't be afraid to fail. We have 10 votes. We have 9 viewers. I'm sure we have some new viewers in the box. Feel free to vote. We have a tie right now for write what you love and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid. Not a personal artist acquaintance, just a long-time listener. For a first-time caller, long-time listener. For a personal artist friend, I would point you to John Sonnenberg, House of the Wires. Excellent, John Sonnenberg. Everyone, check out John Sonnenberg, House of Wires, Pivot, what is it, Clouge? Travelogue? Excellent. I love hearing about new stuff. That's great. All right. It's the top of the hour, top of the second hour. We are going to do the run by just for anybody who's been paying attention. Remember, if you like what you've been watching, but you just haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. You'll get notifications saying, hey, a live video is up or a new video. Next year, I will not have all the videos scheduled out in advance, but I will have all the videos done, so that'll be good. But I will only be scheduling them each month. So every month I will schedule the month worth. Maybe I'll just do every week. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see how I'm feeling. So you need that notification button on because it's going to be a little bit more active in 2026. Other than that, if you haven't done, what helps the video, if you don't know this, is interaction. So obviously, behold the son of bloop bloop, which means it's time to bloop that beard and bloop that like button if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. The like bloopage definitely helps add movement to the videos, but also, sharing the video, even on YouTube, because, you could create a comment. That helps as well. For anyone out there, since Ro is in the room today, we know he's going to help me with the next couple words, but I'll just show the pictures. Okay, if you didn't know, if you could go to makearightleftheare.com, makearightleftheare.com. That's right, makearightleftheare.com. You can find my book. My book is available on the Amazon. is on the Amazon, and you could check it out. You could check it out. Yes, odd name of Pivot Cloud. He chose it so people wouldn't stumble across another band. Fair enough. That's smart. That's smart. That's very smart. All right. When I get next time, I might consider ordering your book. I love it. I would appreciate it, and of course, every bit helps, and I'm always grateful for the love and support. Yes, and of course, buy Thomas's stuff. Buy Thomas's stuff. I don't know if you're doing high pitch, low pitch, but with that said, I wrote 3,000 words yesterday on this bad boy. 3,000 words. I'm now up to more of the quicker chapters. So now the chapters are going to go back down to 500 to 1,000 words. So I'm going to be flying through this book. I'm having a great old time with that. What we got here? I did, and it's coming tomorrow. Yeah, awesome. By the way, if you take a photo of it, that'd be all. I would appreciate it. Because I just. Just kidding. You don't have to take a photo. I get nervous taking a photo myself. That's why I have stand-ins. Yes. Excellente. Speaking of excellente, I just want you to know I have had two lovely people join the Scribe. The Scribe is available on the Patreon. You can go to makearightlefthere.com to get to the Patreon page. You just scroll down, or you look in the news section, and you'll be able to read this book, Death of a King. Death of a King is available, but only through my Patreon, The Scribe. However, I will also add that this Patreon tier is not just the book. You're not going to just get to read the book. What it is educational. So I have notes and thoughts and ideas that are written in the post. And then I have questions that are added so you can look at what I wrote and then kind of think about your own stuff. And then I have assignments. The assignments get a little bit grandiose the further you get into the book because, they're layered. But I'm just saying, you get to learn a few things about the process, but you'll get to see the short form outline of each chapter, basically the extended outline. You get to see the zero draft, the first draft, and the third draft. You don't get to see you'll get to see the polished draft once you finish the whole book, but I want you to see the whole, so you get to see how it evolves. But anyway, let's see. For anyone who is watching and enjoying, boop. Eventually, is that? I don't know what the comment is mentioned to, but I'll eventually. Oh no, I did wear deodorant today. I'll send you a pic of my son holding it up. Oh, awesome. We jokingly have him do that with all kinds of items. That's very funny. My mom used to hold me up and go, "Look, I have a child." That's what she used to do to me. What we got so far? I think we got still have the 10 votes. All right, well, we could jump on that in a second. But anyway, there you go. That link will take you to the Patreon. But I'm really excited about that. I can't wait for people to learn and explore. All right. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just looking at stuff. All right. Other than that, I guess we could go through the poll. If you want to do the poll, we could do the poll now. But it is tied. We do have a tie going on. We do have the tie. You think we could break the tie? If you haven't voted yet, why don't you click a little? Someone click some. We just need 11th vote. Right now, I'm assuming it's 4, 4, and 1. That's all I can think of. 4, 4, and 1. We got 4, 4, and 1. All right. Do. 4, 4, and 1. 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 What we got? Let's do it. We're gonna end the poll. Boop. Okay. So we have a tie. We have the tie. The poll is, what's the best career advice you've received? And write what you love and don't be afraid to fail are number one, and then followed by a second place, finish your first draft, and of course, 0% on talk about your story. If I may, in the comments, tell me why you either A, you believe talking about your story is not good advice, or B, why do you think no one has ever told you to talk about your story? Because in the even in the entertainment industry, you know, writing screenplays, movies, television, whatever, it's all about talking about the stories. And the reason is the more you can talk about it, the better you can articulate it. And there's a thing called an elevator pitch, right? So if I talk with people about my story, they're going to be able to either get me to a point where I can say it and explain it in a sentence that's a sentence or two, which is known as a log line or something like that, right? And I'll be able to explain it so clearly and concisely that if somebody meets me and they go, "What are you working on?" And I could be like, "Boom, boom, 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 boom." And they go, "Oh, you got my interest. Tell me more." Right? So, but as Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it enough. So the more you talk about it, the better you get at explaining it, and the more proficient you get in selling it or pitching it. I was actually told not to talk about it, not until you're done. No. You should be talking about your book. You should be talking about your book all the time. But this is the thing. You shouldn't be telling people to buy your book. You should be talking about how you writing the book, the process, your adventure, you know, your trials and tribulations of getting that book. You should be talking about the story itself. You should be talking about scenes you're working on. When you're talking to people in person, social media, it doesn't matter. It's not buy my book. It's the adventure of how you are writing the book, why you're writing the book, your failures, your successes, etc., etc. And this creates buzz, all right? This creates interest. But if you wait until your book is done, what do you have to do now? Well, if I take a year to write a book, and then the book comes out, now I start telling people. So you're starting the marketing when the book comes out. Why don't you start the branding a year before the book comes out? Because you're building all of that intrigue. Now, obviously, the closer you get to release, you would start doing more ads. You would start, doing more direct postage of the book is coming out, whatever. But before that, just talk about your experience writing the book, the genre of the book, talk about what you like, talk about a scene you just wrote, talk about whatever it is. It's all about your emotional experiences. On that note, ran into my first conflict with your book. Expected it, just didn't know how soon I'd run across one. What chapter, and if I may, what was it that you had the conflict with? Yes, you do like Thomas and have someone like Roe show up and just advertise for you. Accurate. By the way, third person advertisement is third person introduction, which has the strongest return. And how does that work? Well, in Marketing 101, as I was taught in the industry, if I am your friend and I go, "Hey, I just listened to this song released by the band Shop, okay? And you like me and we have a relationship," you're going to go, "Oh, let me listen to Shop because I trust our relationship." So third party introductions always have the best. That's why like a movie does really well when what? When people go see it, they like it, they tell their friends and family. That's why if they like a book, what do? They like it so much, they tell their friends and family. So I have my writing group. I sometimes talk about the details of the book, but the only problem is that it spoils the story for later when I want them to be beta readers. That's fair. So again, just talk about the process. You don't have to talk about the details, etc., etc., etc. But honestly, a lot of the times, like my alpha readers, they know a lot about the saga itself because they're my writing buddies. But when they read it, knowing it doesn't necessarily influence what they're actually getting out of it, because alpha readers are looking for very specific things, which is foundational elements. If you're looking for the beta reader, those shouldn't be the people you're talking to about like the foundation of your story, because you want them to experience the unfolding. So I get that. I completely get that. But if you're dealing with alpha readers, it's okay to sort of talk about your story because they're only going to be looking for foundational elements, not necessarily their experience reading your book. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Ice cream is blue. Okay. Don't eat ice cream if it's blue. I'll just put that out there. All right. Anyway. So yeah. But anyway, I stand by my position. You should talk about your book. But finish your first draft. Yeah, just get through it. I always talk about that. Finish your first draft, get to the end, and then the work begins. Also, a lot of people don't write because they're scared that the book's going to be bad. But honestly, the book is going to be terrible. The first draft, the first zero draft, the first draft, second, and even your third draft is not going to be gold. I mean, you'll start seeing like diamondish elements of a third draft, but it's going to take you a fourth draft. It's going to take alpha and beta readers. It's going to take a few read-throughs for notes and a few adjustments. So keep that in mind. But also write what you love. And the reason they tell you that is because you're going to be writing it all the time. So you have to be passionate about it. I've spoken a few times about bits of my whip, but I think I'm waiting for editing as I feel I'll know the characters, etc. more as I move through the draft. Yeah, that's fine. But still on the upside, talk about that. What you just did is talking about your book. So you just talked about your book where you're like, hey, my work in progress, I'm going to wait for editing before I really get into talking to people about it because I feel like I don't know my characters yet. And once I get to the editing, I'll know I'm a little bit better. That's still talking about your book. It's not giving anything away, but it is talking about your trials and tribulations. It's about your process, etc. All these things are important because it develops an interest in what's to come. If you wait until the product is done and then start, you are starting from ground zero. You should not be starting from ground zero. If that was the case, then when a Marvel movie came out, they would wait until it came out before they start doing interviews, before they start doing trailers, before you see any bad. That means they'll wait the day it goes into the theaters. They'll be like, hey, by the way, Spider-Man's in the theaters. And people are like, Spider-Man's in the theaters? I'll tell you why it's important. They just re-released the Spider-Man trilogy, right? And they still had to advertise that the Spider-Man trilogy was coming back to the theaters. They did not just put it in the theaters. And they didn't just put it in the theaters and then tell people. Like, they built up, hey, by the way, we're bringing back the trilogy, the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire. It's going to be in the theaters. Like, talking about things before it happens is marketing 101. You cannot wait until it's done to talk about it. However, I would say never, ever, 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 ever say your book will be out on this date if it is not done. So there is a difference between talking about a book and then saying, hey, my book's going to be out on the 3rd. Because you never know. Things happen. So wait till the book is done. I just found out that my favorite author, Aaron Hunter, is actually a group doing all the Warrior Camp books. I thought it was one person. Hey, that's what happens. Aaron Hunter. They hunt around, they get the right people. That's another film you've never seen any of the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire? That's fine. It's comic booky. You wouldn't enjoy it. I will say this, though. The Amazing Spider-Man and the newer Spider-Man, what's his face, Tom Holland. They're both English. Spider who? Listen, if you don't know who Spider-Man is, Manowar is going to have to come out and tell you and explain who Spider-Man is. So just keep that in mind. Manowar is our culture Zeitgeist, our pop culture ambassadors. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Not the MOW. How'd you guys lose the war? They used their MOWs. MOW. If you're not into metal, you are not my friend. Ro, if you're still listening, I'd love to hear this. That you said, You said, I ran into my first conflict with your book. Expected it. I'd love to hear what the conflict is because I love talking about that stuff. They use their shiny... It's better than soul glow. You got to let your soul glow. By the way, so listen, there's this guy, right? And he's got a peach for a head, right? Wait, let me back up. So there's this guy with a briefcase, and he's walking around, and someone else sees him. He goes, "Oh, bro, what's going on there? You got a peach for the head." And the guy goes, "Oh, yeah, I found a genie and I made a couple of wishes." "You made a couple wishes? And what, did it backfire?" You go, "No." He's like, "Well, what were your wishes?" And the guy goes, "Well, the first wish was that I could have, $1 billion." And the genie gave me $1 billion. And basically this briefcase, anytime I open it up, it replenishes the money in it. "Oh, wow, that's amazing." He goes, yeah. "What was your second wish?" And he's like, I wanted to be married to the woman of my dreams, and I am. I'm married to the woman of my dreams, Salma Hayek. All right. Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Here's a picture of them. Wow, it's so amazing. But why the peach head? He goes, I my third wish, I just wished that I had a peach for a head. Dazzle the enemy. Dazzle the enemy. All right. Come on, I like that joke. That joke's funny. That's a funny joke. Also, I love that I have a sound effects. What do you call a chili in the fall? I don't know. What do you call it? Hell yeah, Salma Hayek. Come on, Afghani. Hells yeah. Been attracted to her since I was a child during Desperado. Desperado. By the way, you call it a pumpkin chili, an autumn chili. I don't know. What do you call it? What do you call it? A small chili. Small chili. What do you call a chili in the fall? Oh, no. Isn't it a little chili? Because it's the fall? Wouldn't it be like, what do you call a chili in the fall? So it's like, oh, a little chili. Because it's a little chili. It's fall. I think small. I think it's supposed to be little. But that's very funny. I'll give it to you. Let's give it to you. Let's do it. Last comment. Financial foundation account. Okay. Well, that's okay that we have a conflict. Listen, the book says, you can do whatever you want. This is just one of many ways to be successful. However, a financial foundation account does allow you to get involved in the industry without having to worry about your overhead, meaning that you don't have to work a day job. You can sort of but I recommend just reading the rest of the book, and I think the FFA will make a lot more sense, and it'll show you why you need the FFA, because I go into it deeply. I got that joke from a teacher who does Joke of the Day short video. Oh, that's funny. Joke of the Day, everybody. A joke of the day. Let's hear it for Joke of the Day. It's funny. Having an FFA, Financial Foundation account. By the way, some people always ask me, "Hey Thomas, how did you semi-retire from the music industry in your late 20s?" And I said, "A financial foundation account." am continuing regardless. Excellent. I think even if you disagree with 60% of the book, 40% of it is going to at least make you think. I feel it'll be a little bit higher than that. I think you're going to agree with at least 80% of the book. But a lot of the book is written to use your business brain and allow your artist brain to be creative on the side. So you do creative stuff, and then you kind of just use the business brain to sell that creativity. Other than that, all right. So I had a lot of fun today. Everybody have a lot of fun. Okay. Did you learn anything? That's really that's what it's all about. Did we learn anything? All right. Let's. We got to do all the goodbye stuff. Let's do all the goodbye stuff. Tell you what's going on this coming week. According to my schedule, let's see. Going down. Jesus, this year's almost over. How's this year almost over? Just started. September's almost over. All right, on Wednesday. Wednesday's video is going to be Actions Speak Louder Than Words series, which is all about dialogue. So it's going to be talking about subtext and implied meaning, the power of unspoken words, and the nuances of dialogue that convey deeper emotions and motivations. So that will be the pre-record video on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday. Friday we have a named guest on the podcast. A named guest. We'll be having Lorna Graham, everybody. Lorna Graham. Oh wow. So she wrote Where You Once Belonged. She's a published author. She's got a couple things going on. She's a name in the industry. So it was really nice to get her on, and we get to talk to her about some things. That will be this Friday. And then Saturday. Saturday will be another Rewrite the Greats video where I rewrite Edo van Balcom, who wrote Lord Sath, which is a Dragonlance book. So we're going back to the early 90s, and we're going to have some fun and rewrite that. Ooh, yay! Yay, yes. The dialogue video. I think that's what you're yaying. So there you go. We got a full week, an exciting week. I'm very happy about that week. I don't know about you, but I can't do it. What is that? ASIMOV. Oh, you want me to rewrite Isaac Asimov? What do you write? Oh, iRobot, right? Isn't that the iRobot guy? Let me see. Yes, he is the iRobot. I'll put him on the list. Foundation. Let me do that now. I'll put him on the list. I got it open. Let's see. Adjust the titles. All right. Rewrite the Greats. Rewrite the Greats. By the way, the Rewrite the Greats series isn't to be like, look, I can write. It's just to, it's to have fun, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. All right, let's get him in there. I guess I'll rewrite iRobot, since I think that's isn't that his most famous book? iRobot. I'll make him talk like Will Smith. Yeah, iRobot is a short story. Yeah, I'll do that one. Do Caves of Iron. All right, I'll do Caves of Iron. Caves of Iron. Iron or Iron? All right. Caves of Iron. Who's that one? The cave. Isn't it the Caves of Steel? Is it Caves of Iron or Caves of Steel? Caves of Iron. Is it? Is there 2 books? Oh no. It's Caves. It's Caves of Steel, sir. It's Caves of Steel. All right, there you go. I have that in there. I won't be doing that this Saturday, but it is on the list. It will be, as I get through my list, it's the next one on the bigger queue of everything. All right, everybody. Okay, I had a lot of fun today. Boop, let's take that off. And let's see. One last thing. I guess that's it. I think we're done. I think we did it. We had fun. Didn't we? Did we have fun? Did we have fun today? We had fun. All right. All right, everybody. That's it. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. Thanks again, by the way. Much love to everyone. But I'm out of here. And as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you. Bye.